Before this project, I didn't know a lot about my baptism and everything that happened on that day. I only knew who my godparents were, how I was baptized, and a few people that were there based on the pictures I had seen. I was really excited to finally get to learn about one of the most important days of my life. I have always had a lot of questions about my baptism that I never took the time to ask before this project, such as where I was baptized, who I was baptized by, who else from my family was there, why and how were my godparents chosen, what they felt when they were chosen, did our family go to that church often, was there a party afterwards, what did my family feel when I was baptized, and what symbols were used at my baptism. I decided to interview my mom and my aunt because they were both a big part of my baptism, and I wanted to get a good insight for both roles that they played.
You were baptized at St. Helen's Church in Shively. We had a pretty good amount of our family there. Your daddy and I were there. Kelsey was there. She was 2 at the time. Your grandma and grandpa were there. Grandma Pat was there, and your great-grandmother, Mama, was there as well, in addition to Aunt Tina and Uncle Tim, who were your godparents. I chose your godparents because, for a couple of reasons. A, they were my siblings, and I thought that they would be a really great faith reference throughout your life. They're devoted Catholics, and I thought that they would be people you could really rely on just for guidance, and I think they've proved that over time. Yes, we were members of St. Helen's Parish, and we went there pretty much every Sunday before we moved. We would sit in the cry room because you were a little fussy, but it was a really great parish, and we only changed because we did move about 30 minutes away. Well, of course, there was a party. It was a Catholic family and a special celebration, so we had a very nice just a little picnic back at our house afterwards. Everyone came. It was actually, I remember that it was a really beautiful, beautiful day. I was really proud of you. You were very small, and I mean just a baby, but a sacrament is a very important thing. It's always been an important thing to me. At the time, your dad was not Catholic. He went through RCIA probably about 5 years later. But we had discussed it, and it was important to both of us that you were baptized in the Catholic Church. We didn't want to wait when we changed parishes because we had a good connection with St. Helen's at the time, and they were just so wonderful and said that they would make a special allowance and baptize you after Mass on a Sunday, which was just a really a very nice private family event. As far as symbols, we had the baptismal candle. Actually, we had a baptismal candle for you and for Kelsey. She was 2 at the time. There was the holy water, of course. You were baptized in the small baptismal fount at the back of church. And there were just the general symbols of church. You know, it was done after Mass, so of course we had all of the regular, the cross was there. And it was just a lovely church and a very, very nice ceremony. In addition, you also wore the same gown that your sister had worn, which I thought was very special.
And I wasn't a mom at the time, so I remember it was a really big deal and really just very special. I guess one of my roles is to set a good example for you, like to show, like, you know, that I'm a practicing Catholic, and then also to kind of support you during your journey in your faith, and to be there if you ever, you know, I was there during your sacraments, your baptism and confirmation. I mean, like I said, I think it's an honor. I feel like anyone that your mom would choose would be she wouldn't choose just anybody, and so she chose me, and so I took that as, I felt, that like it was an important role that I have in your life. It's definitely more than being just an aunt. I feel like it's I don't have the same relationship with all my other nieces and nephews. I think with you, it's different. I feel like I have a more important role in your life, as someone that's supposed to kind of guide you and support you and in terms of your faith.
I have always known that baptism was a very important time in my life, but I never got to fully understand the details until after my interviews. I learned a lot about why my parents chose for me to be baptized and the important roles of my godparents. After the interviews with my mom and my aunt, I now know a lot more about my baptism and appreciate that my parents chose for me to grow up in this faith.